we use a concept of pre-qualifying questions, which were originally called soft qualifying questions. So they're basically kind of very soft versions of the qualifying questions that just determine, does it even make sense for us to be talk for to continue talking beyond 5 minutes, right? So very soft questions. They don't really determine, is this lead for real? It's just, if the next step in your process was to schedule an appointment, your pre-qualifying questions could help you to determine, does it make sense for us to even have an appointment for both your time and my time. And so let me give you some examples of those. So you might ask questions that relate to the current environment. Are you using anyone today for blank? So, an example there might be, let's say, let's stay with the payroll. Are you using anyone today for payroll outsourcing? And let's say that they use an in-house software that they purchased in the past 12 months, right? And they spent a bunch of money on it. So you saw outsourcing as a service, and they just purchased something. And where I'm going with this is that by you asking this very first question, and by hearing an answer like that, you can determine that they're not a fit, at least not right now. They just made a big purchase in the past 12 months. There's no way they're changing anything. They don't even fit with the type of business model you're in. And we could apply that to any other product. Like if you sell a certain type of product and they don't even consume and use what you sell. There is a current environment type of question that you could ask right out of the gate, and depending on the answer, that would tell you whether or not you should walk away immediately. And if you can identify that you should walk away immediately, and that can prevent you from scheduling an appointment where you either put an hour on your calendar virtually, or you're going to potentially drive across the city and spend time and money going to see them. So current environment questions: are you using anybody today for this? Who are you using? How long have you been with them? How's everything going? What are some things you like about them? These are kind of similar to, these overlap with the need part of the harder qualifying, but they're a little softer, a little kind of probing just to see what's going on. You could try to ask some questions about organizational details. Are you the person responsible for making decisions regarding blank? Do you know who's responsible for? I wouldn't necessarily come out of the gate and ask these. I might ask these just before I maybe schedule an appointment. You might determine that they might have a need, but before you really put that meeting on the calendar, you ask some of these just to make sure that they're in the right role. The main area for the pre-qualifying are questions that probe for pain. And these, I think, will actually be some of your best questions that you can ask. And unfortunately, if you recall at the beginning of the presentation, I said 90% of the questions I show you, you can copy as is, take them from here, use them today. They apply to really any product. So the 10% that you can't copy today is actually these. And the reason why is because these are questions that probe for the pain that you fix. And you fix a different set of pain points than the pain that I fix. I can't give you my list of questions that probe for pain points and you use them because your product solves a totally different set. So these questions have to really be customized and built around what you sell. And so I will show you some examples, but these are kind of used for created around a fictional, let's just say we sold web design, we created websites, right? So here, and the problems that we help to fix by creating websites are, your website's not getting any leads, your website doesn't communicate clearly. So those are pain points that you help to fix by making websites look good and work well. So these are questions that probe for the pain points. So these are similar to like if you go to the doctor. If you're not feeling well and you go to the doctor and the doctor says, well, does it hurt when I press here and they poke you in your stomach? And you say no, that tells the doctor something. And if you say yes, then that tells the doctor something. So these are similar to that. Now, you'll have to create these on your own. And one thing is that I'm giving you a ton of questions here today that you can use immediately. Unfortunately, or if you really subscribe to our methodology, these are actually the questions you'll use most often. Because the really the hard qualifying questions are the questions that you use sort of later in the process, and it's those, if you're doing prospecting where you're networking and you're on the phone and you're sending emails, these are the questions that you want to be spending more time on. And I'll explain that in more detail at the end when we kind of put it all together, showing you when you should ask which type of questions. Uh, but anyways, so what I can at least do is give you a process for how to create your questions to probe for pain points that you could work through on your own. So step one is just sort of outline the product that you sell. And so I told you here, web design services. You might want to outline the features that that product offers, so what that product basically does. And then for each of those features, you can stop to think about how does that help the person I'm selling to from a benefit or value standpoint. And then you might brainstorm a set of benefits. Now, if you take your set of benefits, each benefit can help you to brainstorm and think about maybe a problem that you help to fix. So if you help to improve conversion rates for a website, well, a problem that maybe small business owners have is that they're not getting enough leads through their website. So you can look at the benefit and then correlate that with, it's kind of the opposite. Think about what the opposite of the benefit is. So if the benefit is improved conversion rate, then the problem is that the conversion rate for a lot of websites out there isn't what it needs to be. So that can help you get to a list of pain points. And remember, these are the questions that probe to see if someone has the pain point that we can help to fix. We're pushing the finger in the stomach and saying, does it hurt when I push here? So if we have the list of pain points, then for each pain point could be one, you could really probably create 2 or 3 questions for each pain point. But if we just kind of keep it simple with each benefit has a pain point, and each pain point has a benefit, has a question that could be asked. This is where you can brainstorm the questions for the pain that you resolve. And using that process can help you to get to just a really powerful list of probing questions. When you really start to get sophisticated, that list of questions can be different when you change from one buyer to another. Let's say that you sell some sort of technology product, and you can sell to the CFO, and you can also sell to the CIO. Those could be 2 totally different sets of pain points. Maybe the CIO is worried about system failure and risk and whatnot, and the CFO is worried about cost and operational costs. And so your questions could be totally different. You don't have to get there right out of the gate, but that's just when you want to really get sophisticated with asking good questions.